Thank you for staying with us. And if you have just joined us, you're watching SA Decides on ANN7 with myself, Audrey Chimanda. We're coming to you from East London in Buffalo City Metro Municipality. It is up for grabs again on the 3rd of August when the electorate go to vote. I was talking to the panelists before the break. Now, this part of the show, we go to the floor where we have members from different political parties who will be posing their questions or concerns to my panelists. Where do we start? Yes, so please stand up, identify yourself and your party.
My name is Mzwandile Vaipum from the African National Congress. My question is directed to the African National Congress represented by Executive Mayor Komdemsi. Komdemsi, there is a Municipal Public Accounts Committee, better known as MPAC, which is a multi-party committee, except UDM Izoyas Galon. What is the role and delegations of the MPAC in relation to wasteful and irregular expenditures? Just briefly explain to the people of South Africa, particularly the Buffalo City, what are we doing then as a ruling party in the council? Thanks.
Thank you for your question, Executive Mayor. Would you like a moment to think about it, or are you happy to answer it now?
Well, I can respond to this one.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, because the nice thing is that in Buffalo City we have one of the best committees, MPAC committees across the country, which is highly recognized by a number of municipalities. But key to the role and responsibility of MPAC is to hold the municipality accountable. Now, referring to that includes the council, whether it's the executive mayor, whether it's officials in the various directorates. But at the very same time, to ensure that when it comes to financial management, financial expenditure, and as well adherence, of course, to the findings and recommendations of the Auditor General, to hold all of us accountable, and by even investigation, in fact, conducting investigations in a case where there are suspicions of maladministration within the institution. So the MPAC has got such powers to do the internal, to initiate, you know, a process of investigation. So I'm saying that it is one of the structures like what you refer to as SCOPA, and it has got such very powerful responsibility. And we respect ours, as I'm saying, that it's like a self-introspection of some kind that we all acknowledge and respect.
Ma'am, would you like to respond to how COPE will help with issues of crime and issues of unemployment, not just for the youth, but for also those who fall in between, you know, being the youth and after retiring?
The first point of departure that the Congress of the People has mentioned in its manifesto is that, one, you do a skills audit. It cannot be correct that people are employed outside the metro when there are people with the same skills within the metro, more especially young people. So the first point of departure for us as the Congress of the People, or a government or a municipality led by the Congress of the People, would do a skills audit within the municipality to look at the skill set that we have and have a base, so that when a need arises within the metro, we have a database of young people. Secondly, utilizing the NYDA. Let the NYDA not be a puppet of the ruling party. The NYDA is set up to assist young entrepreneurs, and we encourage young people to get up and do it themselves. But if the NYDA as an entity cannot assist young people, then it is an entity that should not be in existence. So our second point of departure would be ensuring that the NYDA is accountable to each and every young entrepreneur.
Is the NYDA not functioning properly at this moment? You say it's a puppet of the ANC. What exactly do you mean by that?
Programs of the NYDA are not reaching young people as they should be. That's one problem. Because if you are not going to young people and saying this is what we offer and this is how we can help you, and these are the things that we can deliver for you as a young entrepreneur who needs startup capital, then you are pointless for young people. You should not be there. So we want a municipality where young people can be assisted through the NYDA and other means. Now, on the point of persons between 40 to 59, what we're saying is that we are encouraging them to start cooperatives. However, the challenge with people who have started cooperatives has been this, that they will take their documentation to the municipality and then it will be taken to the bin. It would not be used and they will not be assisted. What we're saying as the Congress of the People, therefore, is that we will be a municipality that will ensure that every startup cooperative gets the necessary assistance it requires in order to function. Because we do not want people who are beggars. Because the system that is currently being used now is a system that promotes beggars. We want people who will get up and do it themselves through the assistance of the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. I've got two questions for you, sir. The one involves the ANC candidates' electoral list, and the other one involves certain officials within the ANC that have got bad publicity from Mr. Zuma lately. The first question I'd like to start with, if you don't mind, is can you answer one question? Why did the ANC have to use an outsourced company to qualify your councillors, and thereafter many of them choosing to stand as independents? That's the first question. The second question is the ANC's got bad publicity the last week over a certain official that works within your system was involved in the corruption scam. Why did Mr. Zuma not want to accept him within the ANC? Can you please answer that? Thank you.
Executive Mayor, would you care to respond to these two questions from the Democratic Alliance?
I don't think these are fair questions. The first one particular, because the issue of the president has been a matter of public national interest. And the African National Congress has clarified its stance with respect to our president. So to one, the president, as a law-abiding citizen of the country, has subjected everything that affects him to the processes of law, and which it is the legal institutions that have an ultimate right and goal to determine the plight of the president, which we all respect. So I think this issue, let's hold it there. As I'm saying, that sometimes to prejudge and base ourselves on perceptions about anything that appears as an allegation, it is not fair. So with respect to ANC appointing what you call a service provider to conduct certain processes, I think as a matter of principle, like any institutions, the ANC is entitled, where it deems fit, for any particular response or task to perform, to identify an institution that the ANC believe is a perfect institution to carry the task. So I'm saying that the issue of using or not using a service provider, as a matter of principle, we cannot be held accountable for that, because it is an entitlement that any one of us is due to. So if the ANC felt that, well, the independent service provider is the most perfect institution to carry the task up to our expectation as the ANC, so let it be. Let it be. So with respect to, again, independence, I mean, as a matter of principle, the ANC has made official pronunciations that anyone who stands as an independent and is exercising something against the principles of the African National Congress, by virtue that individual is fighting against the ANC. As a matter of principle, even if it happens to any other political party, anyone who stands as an independent against the very same political party that one claims to be belonging to is judged as fighting against the same political party that one claims to belong to.
Well, there's more questions coming from the Democratic Alliance, so you're raising your hand earlier. I'll hold this for you.
My name is Bill Gould. I'm from the Democratic Alliance, and I just wanted to make a couple of comments before asking a very specific question. Mr. Mayor, I think it's a little bit gratuitous to suggest that a question might be unfair. It might be awkward, and it might be also embarrassing. We can remember that Helen Suzman was famously known for asking embarrassing questions. It wasn't that the questions were embarrassing, it's the answers which are embarrassing. I also wanted to mention that a lot of the discussion from the panel was about poor service delivery and corruption. We know in corruption that the Sariti report whitewashed the arms deal corruption. And this is after people like Tony Yangeni and Shabir Sheikh were convicted. I wonder what they're thinking about the whitewash. We also read in the paper last week the cancellation of the tenders for services for Buffalo City, for plumbing, for floor coverings, welding, air conditioning, electrical. They were all cancelled. Does this mean we're not going to have any services provided from the 1st of July? I think the IDP process recently demonstrated to us. I understand that in the end some 5 million rands was used, but never, to my understanding, ever accounted for. It was supposed to be repaid, but hasn't been. My question is, why hasn't it been repaid? Why have the houses that should have been built not been built? Why is there no accountability for such money? Is this just one example of why Buffalo City needs clean, transparent government, which only the DA, which has its track record around the country, which only the DA can provide?
Executive Mayor, again, a question of perhaps irregular expenditure. Would you like to respond to the question?
Let me start with the first question. The first part of the question that was making reference to Helen Suzman embarrassing response, but it's very unfair when a response does not suit your expectation. You characterize that as an embarrassing response, unfortunately. If you make reference to the issues of the arms deals, that again is a matter of public interest, it's a matter of public scrutiny. And further than that, the same president of the country initiated a commission of inquiry to deal with the matter, which is constituted by legitimate bodies. And that commission has done its work and concluded on the matter, and the chapter, as far as I'm concerned, is closed. And it is closed in a manner that is transparent to the public of South Africa. But of course, there will always be those who are dissatisfied, who still have reservations because their expectation, the findings and outcome did not go according to one's expectation. So it doesn't mean that the outcome, therefore, is illegitimate. So we need to stand by it, because sometimes we are sitting with deep-seated hatred against certain individuals, to an extent of thinking that even the systems of this country, because it is led by individuals that we inherently hate, the system, therefore, you are doubted, are inherently corrupt, which is not the case. Now,
okay, I think the dear member's question was it then replaced? And issues of RDP houses as well. I don't think you've addressed that yet, Mayor.
Well, at the moment, I can't recall whether there was an undertaking to replace the money, but what I know is that every financial year, there is budget allocation to every directorate and allocations made to every specific program that include your human settlement, your housing department. So as I'm saying that, what I know is that I may not recall whether there has been an undertaking to take back that money, but if there was an undertaking to that effect, that has to be followed up. That has to be followed. That is something that should have been done. So I will not respond to the specific in that regard.
We'll come to, I cannot please identify yourself and your question, ma'am.
My name is Yoli Swamaneli. I'm staying at Kanana. I want to ask direct to Mr. Fredericks. I also want to speak closer. Mr. Fredericks, ucinga ukokubana ngale 5 years siza kunika yona. Ungenza ntoni ngoba aba besesibavotele for 15 years. Khange benze into, sifuna umbane asinambane. IKanana xa ndikunika indlela emile ngayo iphambi kweuniversity. Iuniversity phambi kweuniversity kukho amatyholo, kukho amatye, kukho essential akho akho nto yenzekileyo for le 15 years ke omasipala bebephethe phaya be-ANC bebephethe. So thina ke ngosithi siza kunika le 5 years. Le 5 years ungenza ntoni?
I want to assume you're familiar with Xhosa and understood what Mayor was saying.
Well, first and foremost, what we need to understand is that housing, electricity and water as a basic human rights. Currently, our government currently is violating the rights of the very same people that they have promised, made promise to them for a number of years. If one could just take for the example of what has transpired recently, and everything boils down to corruption. There's a saying by saying is that if the head is rotten, the whole body is rotten. And currently now we are faced with the leader of this country is rotten, and therefore the entire organization is rotten.
And we have to take another question. We're running out of time, so I have to speak to... Yes, ma'am. Please stand up and ask your question.
Thank you very much, ma'am. My name is Nomi Kimkez. My one question is to the Executive Mayor of Buffalo City. There is a program of housing development. Has Buffalo City as well given people the houses? And how is the performance of Buffalo City with regard to the housing program in the whole country? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. I'll take one more, then we'll go to the Mayor. I'll hold this for you.
Oh, thank you very much. My question is to the Executive Mayor of Buffalo City. My question to the Mayor is, how is the city going to grow the economy of the city and create the much needed employment? Thanks.
Thank you for your question. Another one very quickly.
Okay, thank you. Let me start by making a comment that to the panel, that it's so unfortunate that people can still not understand that the ANC is the leader of the society. So when the opposition parties are talking about non-service delivery, they must put facts, not fiction, to confuse the electorate. Thank you.
Thank you. We have several questions that came from the ANC, and two of them were referring to you, Executive Mayor. Would you like to respond to them? There's issues of housing development. Do we have that in Buffalo City Municipality? Also issues of improving local economy in this municipality.
Am I allowed to respond to the other question that has to do with the electricity?
You may respond to that as well, yes.
I just wanted to, you will bear with me, although it was not directed to me, but I felt that...
And I'll ask you to be very brief, Executive Mayor.
I'll try my best. Yes. I'll try my best. Electricity rollout is one of the programs that, as Buffalo City, we started as early as our inception. But I think key to that, the biggest challenge with electricity is informal settlement, okay? But despite all that, the council went all the way to take a resolution that the rollout of electricity should be escalated to also accommodate informal settlement. And we are in that process. So Umama, Kanana and other parts are in the list of being taken care of. A number of informal settlements across Buffalo City are electrified. So it is a deliberate arrangement to try and mitigate, again, against the challenge of illegal connections and all other related incidents. So with respect to housing development, Buffalo City is amongst the best. If you go to the office of the Executive Mayor, you will find an accolade, you know, in the form of an award from the Minister of Human Settlement in acknowledging the rollout of housing delivery in Buffalo City. So unless people don't see, I mean, mega project of human settlement have been established in a number of areas, whether in the township, Duncan Village, Ristin, Ndangama, Fynbos is starting now the process. You go to Mtanzane, and those people who grew up around East London, and you go to the village, there are also rural houses. Your Elita, your Pilton village. So I'm saying then, the issue of rollout of housing, we have made a significant impact. I mean, people can see, if you drive along Mtanzane, those who grew up, you will see in the Black Road and so on. But I'm saying that as an example. You come to the inner land, you come to areas like Ristin and see thousands of houses being built. It is an ongoing program. As we speak now, we have in our IDP from now until 2018, for the next 3 years, budgeted for housing development. It is coming to all areas that are eligible, entitled for this, identified as developmental zones. So, so the issue of housing, really, we must be honest to ourselves. There are challenges because on the other side, there is high rate of migration that is taking place. A lot of people are leaving the rural areas, coming to the urban areas at a very, very fast speed. It is a reality that we have to stand, because it comes with socio-economic challenges, whether in the form of unemployment and social services, in the form of human settlement and other related social services. So it's a reality that we are facing. Every month there are shacks that are being built here, illegal, in land that is claimed illegal in our city. These are the kinds of realities that we are faced with. So, but I'm saying that plans are in place to try and mitigate those issues. It is inevitable to stop people from migrating into the city. It's inevitable, but it is a challenge that we have to stand with. So, lastly, the deputy mayor was was asking this big question about the strategic vision of the city as far as economic development is concerned. We have established, we have our own strategic vision document, which is called Metro Growth and Development Strategy, whose vision is meant to roll out for the next 15 years. Of course, it is tapped from the NTP, which outlines our vision. What are the key catalytic projects that will determine our strategic direction as far as economic growth is concerned? But if you know the history of here more than 10 companies within the period of our democratic, even before, on the eve of our democratic government, more than 10 companies just closed down for a number of reasons. And that also coincided with the introduction of technology in the industry, in most of the industry, which resulted into retrenchments and all those kind of things. But those who live here will remember Krombeck and Schubert and all other companies, Parker Pens, and all those many companies around. They were closed down, which resulted into huge unemployment. But I'm saying, as part of our strategy then, we are in partnership with the big business, the Border Chamber of Commerce, which has got about 700 affiliate companies. We've got this big company, Mercedes-Benz. We're in partnership, the ITZ, which is our strategic institution that also assists in lobbying investment for the Buffalo City. We focus primarily on infrastructure development, whether in the form of roads infrastructure and bulk infrastructure. As currently as we speak, if you go around here, you will see the installation, massive installation of pipes, because our infrastructure is aging. We are currently replacing the old infrastructure. We are busy with mega projects that deals with bulk infrastructure in areas like
Thank you for your
Ristin.
very elaborate answer, Executive Mayor. We'll actually take that as your closing remark. As we are running out of time, we'll go to the Democratic Alliance. Ma'am, there was an issue from the ANC, allegations of your party not treating all races equally in the wards that you govern. If you can respond to that very quickly and give us closing remarks as well.
It's very important to know the circumstances that led to that. And as the gentleman should actually know, we are aware of that issue. But the issue was not actually related to the toilet system. It was an issue of negligence on the parent side. So you should have known that. Listen. Okay. No. Okay, we are not a racist party. We have never been a racist party. If you can look around the panel, if you can look around the audience here, we are the most diverse political party as we are sitting here. We have got every person's interest at heart. Unlike the ANC, who likes to push their agendas, and that is why they are bringing about the apartheid divide and rule through dividing people on racial backgrounds. That was an apartheid system. And later you've been seeing a lot of the ANC's policy linking in with the apartheid system to divide people on racial grounds so that they can control them. And that is not what we are here for. We are not here to speak about race. We are post-apartheid. Now we are moving to look forward and bring South Africa in line with the vision of Nelson Mandela, which the ANC have forgotten because Zuma's parliament is just here to loot our coffers.
Thank you for your closing remarks. That's the Democratic Alliance. We come to the UDM. Reverend Hendricks, please, can you give us your closing remarks and why the electorate should vote for UDM very quickly?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are coming in as a Davids. Currently, we are coming in as a Davids. So the Goliath must watch out.
Very
Yes.
short and precise there from
the Goliath
okay,
must watch out. What we are saying is that vote for the UDM. Our president has proven himself throughout, ever since the existence of the UDM. There was never a cloud hanging over him. Never a cloud hanging over him up until today. This is why we're saying we are here as a UDM to make sure today that we will live in a free, corrupt area if we are taking over and rule this country, and also make sure at the end of the day that our people, irrespective of the political affiliation, will receive better housing and better life for all.
Okay.
Viva UDM, viva!
Thank you, Reverend. We'll come to the Congress of the People. Please speak to the people and tell them why they should vote for you come the 3rd of August.
You know, before I make my closing remark, I just want to say something. During the apartheid era, they used to build houses that were called matchbox houses. Houses that no one wanted. Now, 22 years into our democracy, we are building houses that are even worse than those matchbox houses. Houses that need to constantly be renovated every year because the tenderpreneurs that are being used there are skimping on the cement and they're taking money. What we are saying to the people of this metro and throughout the country is that Nelson Mandela said himself, if the ANC regime does to you what the apartheid regime did to you, then you must do to the ANC regime what you did to the apartheid regime. Vote them out. The Congress of the People is the...
And on that note, those are closing remarks from the political parties that joined me here today. We had the ANC, we had the Democratic Alliance, we had the UDM, and we also had the COPE. We had members from different political parties as well. We are in East London, in the east coast of the Eastern Province. We will come back to you in a bit. You have been watching SA Decides 2 with myself, Audrey Chimwanda. Goodbye.